All right, guys, it's that time. It's time for match 5. Maybe I shouldn't be recording it right now, but I'm just too excited. I want to play this last match and see how it goes. I've been pretty on top of my game so far, so let's just go ahead and get this last match underway. I will see you guys in the games. Also, I'm pretty bad about this. I forgot to mention in the opening that we are currently 4-0, so we're actually battling for the 5-0, as you can see from the records down here. So yeah, I hope that you're as pumped as I am. All right, we have our match. Can we be on the play again, or is that asking too much? We were on the play a lot already, so I wouldn't be surprised if we're on the draw this time. Maybe the fortune can be on our side this time. And we're on the play! Alright. Cool. Playing against a Philodon. We have an Explorer hand, which I generally tend to like. We have lots of lands. This is the type of hand that I would expect to be pretty good against Jund, for example. Unless they just turn one Thoughtseize away our Titan, or turn one Inquisition away our Explorer. I mean, even then we can still just draw live. We have Titan mana ready to go. We have a Tolaria West we can transmute. We have a Bojuka Bog to interact. I might get punished for this, but this is exactly the kind of hand that I would like to keep. Maybe I'm just too naive. Maybe I just don't understand. We'll play out our T-West, of course. Explore on turn 2. How could you pass that up? We'll yield here. Don't play a turn 1 discard spell. Just do not do it. And if they do play it, I expect to draw a second Explorer here as a recompense for shattering my perfect dreams. That's obviously sarcasm. By the way, don't take that the wrong way. Our opponent is heavily contemplating their first turn here. Oh, we're playing its Hardened Scales. We got a turn 1 Llanowar Reborn. And of course, we're immediately rewarded by drawing an Amulet of Vigor. That is just the perfect one. Now we get to explore while still continuing our mana development here. This is fantastic. Well, there's no reason to yield to this just yet. Let's make a green. Get this Explore. Okay. I kind of want to play a Growth Chamber here just so we have access to the maximum number of green sources. Is that dumb? I think it's fine. Let's get one Growth Chamber out there. And we'll pick up our Crumbling Vestige. That seems fine. Pass it back. This is looking like the kind of hand that is very easily able to beat Hardened Scales, especially considering we can transmute Tolaria West for Engineered Explosives this upcoming turn. So, we're one away from being able to play it and crack it on 1. Throne of Geth. That's a pretty cool one. This is a 2-mana artifact that lets them sacrifice an artifact to then proliferate, which adds a counter to everything that of our opponent's choice that already has a counter. Here, let's transmute the Tolaria West. And we have a Titan this upcoming turn anyway, so I'm inclined to just go ahead and get the Engineered Explosives here. I suppose if our opponent surprises us with a mainboard Thoughtseize out of the blue, then we get punished for that play, but I am just going to get the EE. And I guess we're playing Bojuka Bog. Don't really want to waste our Crumbling Vestige, so yeah, let's just play the Bog. And we'll exile our stuff. I don't see a reason not to. There's nothing we have to recur them. And I suppose we're telling our opponent that anyways, but I could see our opponent doing something crazy like, just like playing a Tarmogoyf for the fun of it, and this will be good against that if they decide to do something crazy like that. And we have Titan this upcoming turn, so. As if the main board Engineered Explosives was not already insult enough. I suppose even if our opponent did Thoughtseize Primeval Titan, we still have the Engineered Explosives and the Tolaria West in play to then go for a Summoner's Pact after that occurs, so I think even if they had Thoughtseize here, we'd still be just fine. Which is kind of ironic. Arcbound Worker, okay. We might be playing Explosives on 2 here, so we can blow up a Ravager. Actually, to be honest, it probably would be better to play it on 0, so we could blow up a Walking Ballista. The Ravager by itself is not that terribly scary. It's when it piles onto a ballista that it becomes scary. And our opponent is just doing that as their only thing this turn. I feel sorry for them. I really do. All right, let's play a Titan here. Of course, we need green mana. Always need that green mana. Titan. This triggers Llanowar Reborn? What? That's hilarious. Do you want to put a plus counter on my Titan? I would have mad respect for my opponent if they decided to move their counters on to Titan. There's obviously no real reason to do that, but... Alright, let's not get too crazy here. Let's just go ahead and get the haste. And I guess we're playing Explosives this upcoming second main phase. The question is, what are we putting our explosives on? I think it really should just be 0. Yes. Let's see. So we can get Feel the Dead and a bounce land here. We could actually get Feel the Dead in any other card if we wanted to, like a non-Feel the Dead, like a Valakut perhaps. We already have one Valakut in play, so I'm not really super worried about that. We could get Ghost Quarter in case our opponent has Inkmoth Nexus, but I don't think an Inkmoth Nexus would kill us at this point. We already have bounce lands in hand. We could just get a Breeding Pool. That might be a little too simple, but I don't hate that. Could get Radiant Fountain as well. We just have all good choices. I think I'm more inclined to go with the Breeding Pool. Let's do that. Nope. We're going to play our explosives on 0 here. Stack these amulets, so our Feel the Dead triggers just happen automatically on top of the stack, as they are identical. If our opponent decides to pile onto a Hangerback Walker, we'll just Valakut them out of the game, so... Yep. EE on 0 should just be GG's, I would think. Alright, would you like to block with your Arcbound Worker? No? Alright, EE on 0. And we'll pass it back. They do have Inkmoth Nexus, but that's okay. We can always just search for the Ghost Quarter with our Titan attack trigger if we're not just straight up killing our opponent. Hardened Scales. I would have to assume. Another Arcbound Worker, that's fine. We'll be chumping with a zombie if they attack, so... I'm a little surprised we're playing against Hardened Scales for the second time in this league. I haven't even seen a version of Hardened Scales that plays red. So, this is all new to me. This is fine. And the Proliferate is fine as well. This is kind of odd sequencing, because if they wanted to graft onto their Arcbound Worker... Or is this the new one? Did they sacrifice the old one? I don't know. Something weird is happening. I guess they didn't want to graft onto their worker. There's an Arcbound Ravager. Not, again, scary by itself. We're not going to EE on 0 to blow away our own zombies, obviously, so... Alright, opponent. I guess they could have Galvanic Blast to kill our Dryad. Is that something that we want to consider? We already used one Tolari West, so it's not like we can play into second Titan and use it to set up another Tolari West. They could also maybe have mainboard Dismember. So if they Dismember our Dryad, how do we win this? I guess just making a bunch of chump blockers with Field and playing Ghost Quarter for turn. Ooh, the fact that we drew the Ghost Quarter means that we can't search for it off the Titan attack trigger. So if we go for a Dryad, by playing out one of our bounce lands here first, then we are not going to be able to get our Ghost Quarter in play. If we swing with our Titan and they block it, they sacrifice the Arcbound Worker to the Ravager, it gets an additional counter, and then 3 additional counters makes it 7, so we actually just lose our Titan by attacking into our opponent's Ravager. But if our attack gets Bounce Land, actually, we could get Vesuva and second Valakut. Vesuva copying Growth Chamber, pick up the Talari West, transmute, play Dryad, and then a single land. Suppose if we attack with this, we would need our Dryad to stay in play exactly this turn for that to work. But I think that we just can't afford to play around a removal spell here, so let's just, let's... Really awkward. Let's just go for it. We're probably going to lose if we see that removal spell that we were talking about, but... Pick up the Talari West. Transmute it. Get Summoner's Pact. Yeah, I don't think we have a choice but to go for the kill them with Valakut line. And we'll float our mana like this. Pact 4. And cast a Dryad. If they have Dismember or Galvanic Blast, then we're looking in bad shape. But I don't know that they can afford to play those cards main board, as they're pretty off-plan. They don't help their Ballista plan, so I would be a little surprised to see it in Game 1. In Game 2, this might have been a different story, but in Game 2, we'd also have more than one Engineered Explosive, so we could think about putting Explosives on 2 to deal with these Ravager things that are happening. Okay, so they're going all in on the Ravager here, potentially so they can yield this turn, maybe? Oh, this also turns off Galvanic Blast, so they'd have to have exactly Dismember now. Perfect. Alright, so let's attack. We're swinging out here. Yes. We'll get a Valakut and a Vesuva copying a Le Valakut. And save targets upstairs. Stack these amulets. Stack these fields. Oh, our opponent looks like they conceded. Alright, so we got Game 1 by just going straight for it, saying, opponent, if you have it, you have it. We want Dismembers, for sure. We want Force of Vigor, Reclamation Sage, and our 2 Engineered Explosives, for sure. Explore's not the worst against them. They can be quite quick, but they also can be quite slow. At the same time, like if their draw is not well set up, like if they don't just go turn 1 Hardened Scales, then usually Explorer will let us get ahead while also trying to find our copies of Explosives and Dismember and whatnot to not just die to their combo-y draws. We'll think about cutting Explorers later. We can trim the Pact and the Bog. They could be playing Lurrus out of the sideboard. I don't think they revealed it in Game 1. Okay, it looks like they are not playing Lurrus. Or they chose not to reveal it if they are. Yeah, we can trim a few Explorers, 1 Grazer. Turboing out a 3-drop is good, but it also is weak to things like Nature's Claim if they have Nature's Claim for a Dryad or a Dismember or something. I mean, it still is not bad, but we just don't need 4 copies of Grazer. The blocking is not all that terribly relevant. We can get rid of 1 Turn Timber, as it's a little too random. We need to decisively kill our opponent if that's what we're doing, and we can trim a Cavern, I think. Alright, let's run it this way. Cavern also being especially bad since it doesn't tap for a color for our Engineered Explosives. So, speaking of Engineered Explosives, we have Explosives, but we don't have a turn 1 Explosives. I mean, we do. We could put it on 0, but then it's just not great. This hand has no Amulet. Azusa is like, alright. We do have a turn 3 Azusa if we go turn 1 Talari West, turn 2 Garenbrig, turn 3 Ghost Quarter. But a turn 4 Titan is pretty slow. Is a turn 3 Explosives on 1 activation too slow? Our opponent mulliganed to 6. We could also just plan to play and blow Explosives on 1 on turn 3 without giving our opponent the forewarning of it. That plays around Nature's Claim. I don't know, it's kind of weird. We also have Ghost Quarter to stop ourselves from dying to a Inkmoth Nexus, which is definitely something to consider. I don't know, this hand just strikes me as being too slow all around, though. I don't know, it's very weird. I'm gonna mulligan. Maybe we'll get punished. Maybe we won't. We'll see. This hand is very similar to the last one, but we have Summoners Packs already. I suppose we got a Transmuted Tolari West in the last hand, but it's whatever. And Dryad is significantly better than Azusa in this matchup if they don't Nature's Claim it, because then we can mow their board and or just straight up kill them with Valakut. So this hand is definitely a keep in my opinion. And I think we're bottoming a Summoners Pack here. It kind of pains me to do so, as having a pack for Titan and a pack for Reclamation Sage could be pretty important, but we'll make do. We need all of our lands. We might even end up having to Ghost Quarter ourselves to get a basic force to tap our Garenbrig for the activated ability rather than just tapping it for a green. And that is a price I'm willing to pay. We'll definitely keep this. Let's just bottom a pact here. It's fine. We could always draw a second pact or just naturally draw a Titan or a Rex Sage, so it's probably fine. Turn 1 Hardened Scales is pretty scary. That's the thing that we did not want to see. But we still have 3 Engineered Explosives as well to draw towards. At least this hand has a clear plan. The last hand was kind of lacking a plan, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. Our opponent did mulligan as well. Ravager. Scary. Okay. Rot Farm. Okay. Do we want to play that out? I guess not. Let's save it for purposes of drawing and using an amulet to the best of our ability. And let's just name Giant here, I think. And we'll pass. Turn 3 Dryad, turn 4 Titan is much better than turn 3 Azusa, turn 4 Titan. So alright, let's just hope we're not dead in 2 turns. Which could be possible. Our opponent could be establishing the checkmate on us as we speak. Another land. It's probably a good thing for us, not a bad thing. These pathway lands seem to be pretty good for our opponent. I still don't know why they're splashing red. I haven't seen any red card. Oh, Alpine Moon. Interesting. Well, this is another reason to have not played our Rot Farm, because now they're probably going to name Simic Growth Chamber. Or Feel the Dead. Feel the Dead, really? I think Valakut would be better than Feel the Dead, right? Yeah, because then we wouldn't be able to do damage to our opponent or their creatures with Valakut. That's pretty odd to me. Do we want to play out the Ghost Quarter or the Hanweir? The Hanweir means that we could potentially... Let's see, so if we play Hanweir into Garenbrig... I guess we can play both this turn anyway, so let's just do both, I suppose. Whatever. I don't care. No more thinking. Just play the cards. Yeah, sure. Pass it back. If they have a second Alpine Moon to name Valakut, then we'll be in somewhat bad shape, but... Is there a world in which I'm blocking this Arcbound Ravager? That's an interesting question. I'm not really sure. Especially with 2 cards in hand, it might be pretty free to do so. It's going to die to a... Oh, my goodness. What is this? Gem Razor? 4 mana, 4/4 with a mutate for 3 mana. Whenever it mutates, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. That is brutal. That is super brutal. Okay, so we are most likely Ghost Quartering ourselves in order to cast this Titan this upcoming turn, but we are getting this Titan into play at all costs, I think. And this is going to... Does it augment the power... Oh, they just... Oh, okay, this is what it looks like when they mutate. That's very strange. Okay. And so now it's a 6/6 with 2 counters. That's very odd. This is a very weird card. Is it still an artifact? I don't even know. I guess not. Well, we're taking a chunk of damage. Field of the Dead is going to stop us from being able to block, but that's fine. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to Ghost Quarter our own cavern. We're going to say yes and find a regular forest. We're going to float, play a Garen Rig. Going to float with that one and activate. Play a Primeval Titan. Okay. Yes. So I think we might just want to get double Valakut here. Huh. Yeah, I think double Valakut is the move. I mean, it doesn't play around our opponent having a Gruul spell yet again. We're going to be trading with our opponent's Gem Razor, I think. We could actually just take the damage. What happens if we take the damage? We don't have enough blue sources in play to transmute Tolaria West. We could get double Tolaria West and get double Valakut on the attack with our Titan. This is just so weird. Okay. Tolaria West, double Tolaria West doesn't do much for us. I suppose we could pick up and transmute a Tolaria West, but we already have a Summoner's Pact. We'd still be losing, I suppose, to a removal spell on a Dryad if we went for that line to get Valkuts on the attack. We can't rely on our Titan attack getting Valkuts because then our opponent might be able to dismember our Titan when we block with it on this Gem Razor. If we're blocking. This is just really weird. I'm just going to get double Valakut. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm doing. Pass back. This gives us the option to block if we want to. Because then after, we can pack for Dryad and use it to kill our opponent's Gem Razor if we have to. If we got anything other than double Valakut, we might be forced into not blocking with the Titan. I'm not blocking. I'm not doing it. I'm taking the damage. Kill me. Kill me. Come on, Batman. I don't know. Is that what the Joker says? Does he tell Batman to kill him? I think he does. Damping Sphere. Fine by me. You got it. And this is why our opponent probably should have named Valakut instead of Feel the Dead. Yeah. So we cast this and can still play Dryad, and yeah, that's just game. Actually, we can probably hasten attack with our Dryad if we want to by doing this. Just for the extra style points, you know? Boom. Haste that bad boy. Get in for an extra 2 damage. That's what I thought. Attack. Get him. Heck yeah. Vesuva. Should we get Feel the Dead just for the meme of it? Let's get Radiant Fountain. Vesuva copying Valakut. Everything upstairs. Now we have the tedious chore of always guessing every single of these Valakuts, but it doesn't last too long. Now the stack will resolve quite quickly. And that's the game. Ooh, boy. All right. We got the 5-0. Man, that feels fantastic. And any of you who say that Amulet is not a good deck, let this be proof to you that it is a fantastic deck. Anyways, let's go back to the deck list so you can see what's going on here. Wow. This deck is just fantastic. That's all I can say about it. Amulet is just a fantastic deck to play. It's so fun to play. It's so intricate, but it's also so arbitrarily powerful. So, I mean, I guess it does help when you get paired against good matchups. We got paired against Hardened Scales twice, and my understanding is that Hardened Scales is a bad matchup, or that Amulet is a bad matchup for Hardened Scales, and likewise, Hardened Scales is a good matchup for Amulet Titan. if you know what I'm saying. And I don't know, that was pretty lucky. We also were on the play the vast majority of our matches here, so that also has something to do with it. Anyways, thank you for joining me along this journey. Let me know what you think I should play next. If you want to see more content with Amulet Titan, if you want to see my evolution of Esper Drago, I do have some new ideas from the list that we played last week. And I do plan on giving Esper another spin sometime relatively soon, especially considering we just got all this value from this 5-0. Love to see it. Love to see it. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut the video right here. Again, let me know in the comments. I do look at the comments, and if you gain any kind of enjoyment or entertainment from this video, from this league, then show your support. And that's all I'm going to say about that. This is Red Face Menace, signing off.